What's up, guys? Bullish Bears Dan here. Just watching the SPY chart. I've got the Powell speech on in the background in one ear and watching the market react with the other. I'm also in our trade room, and my main chart screen that I'm sharing with you guys is a trend spider chart. This is comparing 5-minute candles versus daily moving averages and daily trend lines. Right now I have the daily trend line feature turned on, but we're not really seeing many lines. So just to switch this on, I'm going to turn it on to more lines, and it looks like we're still pretty far away from a major daily trend line. So to remedy that, I have to actually zoom out and kind of see where those major daily trend lines are. And this is the most significant one that I can find on the chart that we hit beginning of October. And so now we're looking at a 15-minute versus daily. So these are 15-minute candles versus daily moving averages. The daily moving averages will be thinner and finely dotted, right? They have these dashes with them, and the whatever your main time frame is going to be the solid color lines. Ideally, I'm using the 5-minute in most cases to watch the price action and see what kind of trade I'm going to make. I'm just gonna mute for 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. I got a something popped up. All right, I'm back. So we've got a pretty rangy kind of morning thus far. I'm gonna turn off the regular trading hours data so we can just see kind of the gap up this morning on SPY. We can also, when we turn off the pre-market data, TrendSpider will let us actually draw a line, so we can turn on drawings and we can kind of draw our own channels of significance. So you can see right here we've got some quick angular resistance right here. Lots of wicks and momentum change here. So we might be seeing an opportunity to either go long or short depending on how this plays out. Right now we're really stuck inside of this triangle. It's kind of a descending triangle, but we see these a lot of times in a range day where it just kind of consolidates, eventually breaks out. There are quite a few stocks that have been bullish today. Roku, very nice move from a gap up, pretty much a gap and go. And you can take a look at the way price stayed above the 9 EMA and the 5-minute, really running all the way up to the 20 EMA daily. Right now, that looks to be acting as resistance up here. So these 5-minute candles pretty much rising wedged right up into that daily moving average. Tesla is another one that that's TS. We need the L and the A. There we go. So Tesla, another kind of ride the 9 move, bull flag, bull pennants, rising wedge, and really close to that daily trend line. Here's the 9 EMA daily. And just to kind of zoom out so we can see, I do like to check the hourly charts a lot. We're getting pretty close to that daily resistance. That's been a area where the bears have come in pretty hard. So, you know, expecting some pullback once we get kind of close to this level. And you'll notice too, you start getting more wicks and you know, kind of faster moving price action. That's because, you know, people who bought the dip here, they want to be the first ones out. They don't want to be the last ones out as you approach a daily resistance zone. So expect some volatility on Tesla. up along this line. What's really nice about it is that you can create an alert when price touches this line with TrendSpider. And I like to know when a 5-minute candle either break through, touches, or bounce. And if I'm day trading, I'll set it for a day because I want the alert to expire if it doesn't happen. And now I've got a nice little alert. If price gets up to that level, we'll have kind of a highlight. Of course, the 5-minute chart really can't see it, but at least we're aware of it. And just so you guys know, if you're like, what the heck is TrendSpider? I've never heard of it. We did write a pretty excellent review. They do a free trial. I'm going to post it in the comments. So if you guys decide to check that out, you can click and get a free trial, and they'll take really good care of you because we're good friends with those guys. This is my favorite and most useful tool for trading. So Tesla's on my radar. I've also going to switch back to SPY because I'm very interested to see if we're going to dump below this triangle or not, and potentially fill this gap, or maybe even test yesterday's lows. It could get very volatile. We have the Fed meeting minutes later today at 2 p.m., so I'm very interested to see how the market reacts to those minutes. Could get some really good volatility as we get closer to 2 o'clock. There's been a lot of meetings with Powell on the economic calendar, and he doesn't really get to talk too much. There's a lot of other speakers talking. So when I talk about economic calendar, I'm usually going to investing.com, their calendar section, and just checking out, what's happening. So this is what we're kind of in. We're in this event right now. There's supposed to be another Fed speaker later. And then here at 2 o'clock, you got the Fed meeting minutes. So I'll check this often. But so kind of slow right now. I'm noticing there's not a lot of volume, high frequency trading algos really doing too much right now. So more than likely they're waiting for that 2 o'clock time frame to roll around, and then we'll get some good action. So part of with trading is you sit on your hands and wait a lot for your setup. I don't have a trading setup in here right now until I know what the heck's going to happen with this apex, and we're getting tighter and tighter. And ideally, if we're going to go long, we're going to go long and try to shoot for the 9 EMA daily, which is right up here around 292.50. And let's see, let me switch to my SPY chart. This is a SPY options chart, so I'm not pulling the trigger on that yet. Here's kind of what I have drawn on my Thinkorswim chart as well. Let's see, I got fibs loaded. I don't want fibs right now. So we'll see if we break this right angle. Again, 292.50, 293, big resistance zone for me. There was a lot of volume right here on that candle to kind of save it off of lower VWAP. We got VWAP coming up right here at 290.67, so we'll see if we'll cross that or not. Could get interesting soon. TVIX looks kind of weak, so maybe we'll see another pop here. Right now I'm listening on YouTube with my headphones to the Powell speech, and it's very boring right now. If you're a technical trader, you're kind of just waiting for Powell to speak and something to really happen and take off, move the markets, and I'm just not hearing that kind of language. So we are getting a nice bullish 5-minute candlestick here, so this is worth keeping an eye on. We could maybe potentially see a trend and start making new highs today, squeeze the bears. If you guys have a chart you want me to pull up with TrendSpider, I'll be happy to do that. Otherwise, I'm pretty much just sitting waiting for SPY to come alive. All right. So still no confirmation yet. You can see here we still have a lot of wicks up in this zone. What's nice too is we can actually highlight the breakouts and breakdowns with Trend Spider. You'll get these green or red circles depending on whether it's a breakout or breakdown and how it reacts to your trend lines. I have the 5-minute trend lines turned off, so I'm going to show you guys real quick. Switch to the 5-minute trend lines. The chart gets very noisy, and if you're not used to looking at Trend Spider, it can be overwhelming a bit. But you can always tone it down to most relevant. You'll get these you'll find these falling wedges, like we have a falling wedge here. We've got an angular support here. And I look for open space. Open space is where I want to take my trade to. So if I can break this box, this triangle right here, there's a chance to make a run for this red line, which would be a nice long trade. Netflix been moving pretty nice. Broke over daily VWAP and bounced off the 5-minute trend line zone. So we could head up to the 50 SMA 5-minute. That would be my first kind of target for it. Then we do have the 9 EMA daily as well. So this zone looks like resistance on Netflix. Not the best entry, trying to chase through here, but if you got a good entry on the green circle, which is the breakout point, that makes it a very attractive entry. So you can technically kind of risk these circles as your entry and stops. There is a way to kind of do that. Of course, you have to have your own risk management outside of these circles um, and really plan the trade out. I wouldn't just trade the circles from circle to circle. You want to have some other moving average or trend line or something that's going to kind of dictate your entry and exit. But I like to bring attention to it because this is such a great teaching tool for new traders, and we have a lot of new traders in our community that are, you're lost. You're starting out. You're trying to get a grip on the market and develop an edge trading. It's really hard if you struggle with drawing trend lines. You struggle with the technical analysis part. Once you get the technical analysis part down, then the next hard part is the risk management, because being a good, technical analysis technician, right, and being able to read charts is just half the battle. The other half is actually putting on the trade. So that's where it's really important you guys develop your edge. TrendSpider's helped me a ton with developing mine. It's made it a lot easier. It's saved time. You can see here we have a green circle, breakout circle. We're back testing a little bit. So we might actually see this start to squeeze. I'm noticing that TVIX. I'm always kind of watching a VIX product too to get a handle on where volatility might be heading, and you're seeing kind of some very bearish overhead resistance through here. Lots of resistance. So far respecting it. So there's a chance that this trades lower. Again, if this reverses and breaks out, you're going to see SPY really start to drop. And all it really takes, guys, is just a comment from the Fed, a tweet, a piece of news. So, you know, if you're in the market and you're long or short something, you really have to be paying attention to the headlines and how they can quickly change the direction of a stock. Again, that's why risk management is super important. So we use Benzinga for streaming news, and also pretty awesome for monitoring price spikes and highs. So you're seeing right here lots of stocks making session highs. So this is good for finding things to trade. Then of course the news feed on the left hand side. Pretty good combo along with TrendSpider. And there you go, TVIX making that red circle now, starting to break this blue line. So we might start to see a trend where TVIX comes back to the 9 EMA daily. And again, just like with trend lines, we can set alerts with these moving averages and we will be alerted, which is nice because the daily moving average is moving. It's a moving target. So, you know, a static target is a trend line. Like here, you could create an alert here, but the 9 EMA is going to be, you know, acting as a pretty nice support level as shown here, and as shown as, you know, how it reacted with resistance when price was below it, right? 9 EMA tagged it, pulled back. Then we gapped up above it, act as support. Again, it might act as really strong support today. Then again, it you know, might react differently and break through and pull back lower. So you kind of take it as it goes. I'm going to switch back over to SPY. There you go. There's that green circle. We're almost getting up into green pasture up here. Let's see if I can draw a box so I can kind of highlight this area is the width that I'd be looking to trade today, provided I can get a good entry. Not seeing too much action or volatility yet. TVIX bouncing back to that 9 EMA 1 minute. Just taking a look at the GE down channel. Been stuck in this down channel today. This blue line has been pretty strong support for a bounce, so we'll have to keep an eye on that and see if that potentially bounces. There's not a great risk reward on it. This is a pretty tight channel, 10-cent channel, so I usually look for something a little bit more. It looks like Apple, let's see, Apple analyst raises price target. So I'm getting lots of upgrades lately. So you're seeing some reaction on that news. Canaccord Genuity raised or reiterated buy rating, raised price target from 240 to 260. So that's coming in on the wire. We'll see potential for Apple to move up today. That's kind of a fun one to day trade options on, as long as it's not range trading too much. Let me switch back to Apple. Let's save that. All right, back over to SPY. So still do not hear Powell speaking. Very, very long-winded speakers right now. I did hear the R word. So we're approaching this resistance level. You know, the fear is that we trade inside this megaphone the whole day. Ideally, to go long, we're getting some big volume to push this out to 292. That's a good dollar run. Otherwise, there is a dollar range to the downside. It's more like 75 cents. So, looking at that pattern-wise, we could get a cup and handle here. So, what would that look like? What I like to go long on is I like to get a pattern that agrees as well. So, if we had a cup and handle, move out like this. There's also a inverse head and shoulders. Those are great to go long if you can get a cup and handle and an inverse head and shoulders and some type of bull flag or bull pennant inside that pattern as well. You're getting a confluence of bullish patterns, which makes it a higher probability trade. It's all about having a high probability trade. So right now we're seeing this kind of build out. Seeing Tesla start to react a little bit. Not seeing any negative news, but Tesla is dropping. It looks like they had some bad news at 11:10. Consumer Reports slams Tesla's automation feature. Didn't seem to affect the stock too much. All right, SPY up against that resistance. Here we go. Volume's still not really picking up yet. There's a little bit of action on the 1 minute volume. And we can switch and look at the 1 minute charts as well and get those 1 minute and daily trend lines. I don't like to trade the trend lines on a 1 minute chart. I prefer the 5 minute ones. But for scalping, it can be pretty useful. I just find it a little bit too noisy. And I can't get the daily moving averages on a 1 minute chart with Trend Spider. So that is super important to me. All right. What's up, Sarkaz? How are you today? Ooh, look at SPY go, getting some follow-through volume. That is very nice to see. We like follow-through volume. Seeing some volume in the 292 calls on this spike. All right. It's funny listening to this speech. It literally the way that the that you're watching the candlesticks go up on a 1 minute chart. When he says something nice, the speaker says, market's good, no worries, and then he comments a bad word, goes right back down. It's like following it to a T. Good stuff. Yeah, I've kind of been going through showing TrendSpider today to you guys on YouTube. Wanted to kind of highlight its usefulness. I posted the review in the comments at the top. I'm watching to see if SPY gets continuation up to maybe the 200 SMA. The last speaker just said the word storm clouds in the future, and then you see the market kind of pull back. It's kind of hilarious to see. Now Powell is actually speaking and asking questions about training, and they're very focused on the labor market right now in the speech. So they're talking about not enough people in the STEM fields compared to other countries. But overall, this is a pretty good breakout. You can see we failed once in this trendline zone, but we were able to get back. We broke this major green resistance zone. So that's kind of good. You're seeing some continuation. We didn't get much of a cup and handle here or inverse head and shoulders. It just kind of like pushed through this trend line, which makes me a little apprehensive, but I'm attempting to scalp this anyways with risking this level as a potential, stop position on this candle. I do like to watch how these 5-minute candles close, so we've got about 20 seconds left on this 5-minute candle before it closes. What's up, RA? Not seeing much action in the algorithmic high-frequency trading world. It's still very mellow. Very mellow out there. Would expect a little bit more, but the machines may be shut off until 2 o'clock. I'm not going to stream all the way to 2. I'll probably come back closer to 2 o'clock and do another live stream around that time. Because this speech is not having a tremendous effect, so maybe we'll get a flush closer to 2. Right now, TVIX is riding the 9 in the opposite direction of SPY. So this was a nice 5-minute candle close. If we look at the heat map as well, this is the 5-minute heat map. Kind of shows the major support resistance heat zones. I believe this should change. No, that won't change with that. I just turned on more lines too. Equity trade. Do you mean equity feed? I'm not familiar with equity trade. Equity trading. You must mean equity feed. We did do a review on equity feed, but I myself, I've used a lot of stuff, and I've not used equity feed. Let me show you what we kind of found on that. We have some really good reviews on our site, so if you're looking at buying something, check out the reviews first. Yeah, so my favorite tools are hands down TrendSpider, Benzinga. Yeah, TrendSpider, Benzinga. I also use Black Box Stocks. Those guys are wicked cool. They got a great scanner, great system. Trade ideas, of course, every morning I'm looking at that. A couple times a day I'm checking out that scanner. Again, if you guys go to our website, you're going to get links to pretty much everything underneath trading companies. Let me see what Lucian put it underneath. List alerts blog. Tools. Yeah, it's under tools. The tools section is where it's at. So let me paste that one for you guys too. Highly recommend you guys check out the trading companies. All right, so maybe we'll back test these trend lines. If we fall back with inside them, it would be kind of a bearish top. Again, if you're scalping, you got a little bit tighter risk management. You're welcome. I think we might have a discount for equity feed too. You'll have to check and see if there's a link to try them out. I know we've reached out to a lot of these companies and tried to get discounts for people, and we'll kind of bury those links. So if you're reading it, you'll eventually stumble across it. Let's see, no new programs selling. Man, it is very, very light, still light volume. Not much. I think it's going to be kind of lackluster until we get to 2. Although we're still in a 5-minute squeeze situation that can put us up higher. So I am liking that. Again, we've been running up since 11:15. SPY has been moving up. So we haven't had many red candles while that's been happening. Tick is moving lower. Roku was really the beast of the day. I actually tried to go against the grain on this one. I was looking for this trend line to break down. It did not. I shorted kind of the high of day and had to end up stopping out on that. The move was clearly going the other way, but I had there was a bull trap here earlier in the week, and massive fail, bear flag, pullback. I was actually looking for some continuation with that, but once it gapped above and back tested that line, it just kept going. But a lot of times when I trade and I get stopped on something, whether it's break even or small loss, I just kind of move along to another setup rather than. Otherwise, I'm too tempted to revenge trade it. You guys have ever heard of revenge trading? It's a real thing you don't want to do. All right, guys, it's just about lunchtime, so I think I'm going to end the stream for now. Again, check out the TrendSpider reviews, some of the links I posted. I'm going to come back closer to 2 o'clock when they do the Fed minutes, and I'm going to stream probably in our trade room and also on YouTube for a little bit. But if you guys want to check out our service, you guys can sign up, subscribe. We got a free 2-week trial. You know, no strings attached. So you can come in, check us out for 2 weeks. You can learn a lot from us. We're really about education. So, you know, best practices, lots of insights, technical analysis, you know, risk management, risk reward. You know, really, we want you guys to kind of be able to look over our shoulders and know the why we're doing things or why we're seeing things the way we're seeing them, to try to help you guys move on and be able to trade the markets by yourself. Ideally, independence. It all starts and stops with you. We can't buy and sell stocks for you. We can teach you how to do it, but we can't do it for you. So that's what we're all about over here. Thanks for joining us on YouTube, and I will see you guys all later.